Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Stout Field here at Fort Bliss, Texas, and the 11th edition of the World Military Women's Football Championship. I'm Van Stokes, and we're glad you could join us for today's game. It's day 4 of the Women's Military World Cup, and tonight the stage belongs to Group B and the women's military teams from France and Brazil. This championship is a part of the Conseil International du Sport Militaire. What is that, you say? Well, it's the International Military Sports Council, referred to around the world by its acronym CISM. With 138 member countries, CISM conducts more than 20 military world championships for its member nations each year. Their motto, it's very simple, it's very direct: friendship through sports. Still, when you look at the popularity of soccer and you take this sport and put it against the rest, you've got to believe that winning the Military World Cup is a very prestigious title to have. Joining me in our internet broadcast throughout the course of this tournament is our U.S. CISM Chief of Delegation and the Secretariat for the U.S. Armed Forces, Steve Denoden. Steve, day 4. This tournament is off to a great start. What goes through your mind right now as you're preparing for the game here on day 4 of this CISM Championship?
This is all about rematch and redemption. You have two teams here that have held the title. France is defending champions. Brazil wants that title back. They're not going to be letting France continue if they have anything to say about it. However, France brought a tough team today.
France did bring a very tough team. We have seen France one time, Steve, and that was when they literally upended Germany by the score of 6-0. Now, for Brazil, this is going to be their first game in the tournament. Do you think the fact that France has not seen Brazil yet in this tournament is going to have any bearing on this game?
I don't believe so. I think they're going to be playing like they've been practicing, and that's playing to win, regardless of who's in front of them. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come and approach the match early on. Are they going to hold back, wait and see what their opponent brings, or are they going to just attack and try to get on the scoreboard first?
Well, we're going to find out, as well as those two teams finding about each other. Let's go now to our public address. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of CISM, the International Military Sports Council, welcome to Stout Field and the 4th day of competition of the 2018 World Military Women's Football Championship. As they come onto the pitch, would you please welcome the two teams from Group B for today's match. They are the military teams from Brazil and France. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, will you please rise for the playing of the national anthem for Brazil, and please remain standing for the national anthem of France. Ladies and gentlemen, now with the CISM motto of friendship through sports, fully alive here at Fort Bliss, Texas, we wish the best for each of the teams in their challenge to win the 2018 Military World Cup. This marks the 70th anniversary of CISM, which was founded in 1948 with 5 original countries. Today, CISM has grown into the second largest multi-sport organization in the world, second only to the Olympic Games. With 138 member countries, CISM conducts more than 20 military world championships for its member nations each year. Once again, all under the motto of friendship through sports. At stake here on the pitch tonight in El Paso is the Women's Military World Cup. And with soccer fever running high around the world, with the World Cup currently in progress from Russia, it's easy to see that perhaps there are few CISM competitions that are more prestigious than winning the Military World Cup. Again, best of luck to our teams tonight. So, Steve, that is the introductions of the teams. It's a ceremonial. I like the protocol. They set the stage very nicely as they come out onto the field, led by the FIFA officials. You've got our officials tonight. We will identify them as we go through the contest, but you've got Brazil out in the yellow jerseys, white pants, white socks, and France, they've got the black tops, white numbers, black shorts, black socks as well. We've got South America against Europe. I mean, that's the way it sets up. Arguably, 2 of the top teams in the entire tournament. They just happen to be in the same bracket. And guess what? This is going to have a championship-like feel to it, even though it's game 1 of the tournament for Brazil.
That's right. You're seeing 2 dominant teams here. Also in Group A, you're seeing 2 dominant teams on the other side of the Pacific Ocean with China and South Korea. So it's going to be interesting how this tournament plays out between both brackets. So tonight is going to be the litmus test.
Group A kicked off on Friday when Korea beat the USA 1-0. Netherlands and Canada went to a 0-0 draw. And then last night, China beat the USA, as you just mentioned, and Korea beat Canada. You take a look at the group standings within Group A. South Korea is atop the group right now. They've got 6 group points based on their 2 wins. Behind them comes China as a result of their win last night. And then 1 point each for the Netherlands and Canada. The United States does not have any points in Group A competition. In Group B, with only 1 game gone so far, that's France over Germany 6-0. France sits atop of that pool with 3 group points. But this is a Group B game, and by the end of this broadcast, those standings could very easily be rearranged.
We're going to see 1 or 2 things tonight. A lot of goals or a lot of defense. So maybe they're going to repeat what Canada and Netherlands did with a 0-0 tie. Or we're going to see some points go up on that board on either side of the ball.
Either way, Steve, denote we're going to see some good soccer. Once again, Brazil in the yellow tops. They are defending the east end of the field. And in the black tops, black trunks, defending the west end of the field, France. And we are underway. Challenged very quickly by Brazil. Pushing and shoving, it'll go back the other way. Starting lineup for Brazil tonight in the goal, that's going to be Renata Santana. She'll be joined by Diana de Silva, Fernanda Leeson, Rihanna Mercado, Andressa Rosa. In the middle, Jane Oliveira, Barbara Ferreira, and Juliana Ferreira. And up front, Pamela Vasconcelos, and Flavia Feliciano, and Daniela Lima. Those are your starting 11. For France, they go with the same lineup they had against Germany the other night. No need to mess with success as far as they're concerned. In the goal, it's Celine Deville. The defenders, Guinella Butel, Alexia Truvisian, Viviane Boudal, and Caroline Pizzala. In the middle, you've got Kimberly Kazoo, Celine Barbons, Gutia Cacciuni, Audie Moreau, and up front, Claire Guillard and Marina Marcanza. Those are your starting 11 for France. And very quickly, we've got a French player down. And as she came in our direction, Steve, it looked like she turned her ankle inward. She's going to get up, though, and try to walk it off. Into that starting lineup, that is Sarah Palanza. She was not the starter the other night, but obviously she's on the field tonight. So this game, I think, is going to start out a little bit slowly, and the reason I say that, Steve, is I think they want to get a feel for the strengths, perhaps, of their opposing team.
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of action just yet. However, we're only in the second minute mark right now. So caution right now, that's the way to go.
Out it goes against France. Brazil will bring it down. Our officials for this game, Lizzie Vanderheld from Netherlands. She's our field official. First assistant, Jennifer Garner from the USA. Second assistant, Alicia Messer from the USA. Our fourth official, Giancarlo Pavone from Canada. Long pass down left side. France recovers quickly.
Starting to see the aggression come out just a little bit on that one. I have a feeling we're going to start seeing things ramp up here sooner than we expected.
Ricardo Costa Abramtas is the coach for Brazil. Good cross pass, but outsteps Deville. She takes charge of that goal area and sets things back up. And she's got a nice foot when she puts the ball back in play. 2/3 of the way down the field.
Oop. Got a little collision there.
Little collision, foul. Called against France. That foul was on Julie Rabana. But I had the opportunity to talk to Ricardo Costa Abramtas earlier today and his assistant coach, Saulo Silva, and ask him to tell me about their team shot moving down towards the goal, and it's a goal! Oh! Worked it down the field nice, caught Deville out of position, and Brazil sneaks it in off the post on the right side and takes a 1-0 lead. Assist on the play, but credit Julie Rabana with the goal. So Brazil goes up 1-0. And maybe it's a wake-up call for France. You just can't say. You don't know. My apologies on that. That was Jane Oliveira for Brazil. Brazil up 1-0 right now. And it was Oliveira, who came down on the left side. She is a midfielder, but came in with attack. My humble apologies for misidentifying that player. But here comes France instead. Perhaps they will get the call and get it called correctly. We shall see.
Big difference from last night, Van.
Whoa, it is. It is.
Last night we had 25-mile-an-hour winds, or 16 miles an hour, 25 kilometers for our metric people, with gust at a good another 10 kilometers faster. Tonight, winds settled down, so we're not seeing all the action down here on the east side of the field.
No, we're not, and I think it's going to pick up. But the point I was getting ready to make when Oliveira scored her goal was that this is a team from Brazil that has played together roughly 4 to the last 8 years. They know each other very well, as we just saw on that last run on Oliveira's goal. And so they're very comfortable on the field together. But that said, so is France. All of France's players have played at Division I or Division II level back in their home nation. But I asked Abramtas to describe his team, and you know what he told me? He said, we have high energy. We're very competitive. We're like a family. We have fun when we play. And I liked all those comments. And on that breakaway, what we just saw then with Oliveira down on the left side and the pass, you saw all those elements kind of come into play. Long shot. Oh, knocked up and over the crossbar by Renata Santana. Nice job by the goalie for Brazil. Santana played in the World Games in South Korea, Steve. That is when Brazil picked up a gold medal, as a matter of fact. So Renata Santana, very much an experienced player, and shows just on that deflected shot just how tough she could be in the goal. Corner kick from France and headed away.
We do apologize right now. We are seeing a little bit of the video choppy. We're going to continue to figure out why the computer's running at 100% again. But we will get this resolved very shortly.
Here's the deal, Steve. This game may be 1-0 at this point in time, but this is not the way it's going to stay. You have two very capable scoring teams out there on the field right now. In our 8th minute here, early on in this contest, 1-0 Brazil. Shot all the way from the left side. It goes wide, though, beyond the goal line. Renata Santana will bring it back in. Santana along with the boot down towards midfield. And you're going to see an exuberant, you're going to see a quick, a passing, aggressive offense out of Brazil. But you will also see some great technical skills from France. One-on-one, nice play down near the end line. Now that, my friends, was Rabana. 2-on-1. Rabana tries to turn it around, goes back towards the corner. And off the legs of Fernanda Lisan. Good kick in from the corner. Crosses out quickly. Brazil tries to clear it. Back once again. Cross pass towards the center. Header over to the left side. Good challenge that time by Brazil. Back towards the center. Barbons tries to go to the left. They'll work it down to the corner. Look for the cross. There's the shot, and it's a block. Another shot, another block. Aerial ball up high. Shot and another block. Oh, my. France drilling on the goal right now. But Brazil managing to put a body in front of each of their shot attempts. If you are Cedric Vautier, the national coach, the coach of the military team for France, you're going to say, keep up the attack. Brazil down on the left side. Out to Oliveira. Oliveira is going to try to work it to the center. She does. France will take over. Nice challenge that time by Fernanda Lisson. They fight for the ball. They wrestle for the ball. Flavia Feliciano involved in the tussle there. France controlling on defense, and right now, Steve, to note, we are seeing a good soccer game, and this is only in the 11th minute.
Brazil's really putting in the defense right now. They got 4 defenders back right now. They're keeping that wall going. Every opportunity France had, Brazil said, not today. We'll see if they can continue that onslaught, though. But since we have a moment break, we have quite a few people with us on Facebook right now, both in France and Brazil. Send us a shout out where you're watching from, and we'll mention you on the air.
Wherever you are around the world, we're glad you could be with us tonight for the live streaming on Facebook of the Military World Women's Soccer Championship. We call it the Military World Cup. And down on the field, after taking a shot in the shin or the ankle, the lower leg, is a Brazilian player. Let's see if we can't get the number on that as she pops up to her feet. She's moving about in good shape.
Well, we're happy the video got back up.
That is Juliana Ferreira, who went down.
And Brazil's taking it back upfield.
Persistent, intense. That's the style of play. Fast, quick. They strike fast, they strike hard. You got to like it. I love that style of play. And you know, the neat thing about this competition, Steve, is we see different styles. We've got styles from Asia. We got styles from Europe. We got styles from South America. I mean, you blend that in. What you're getting is a real look at international soccer at an elite level. Good long pass down field, but nobody able to get to it, so it goes back the other direction for Brazil.
That
14th
ball had
minute.
some frequent flyer miles, I'll tell you that.
It did. But that is Celine Deville down in the goal. She's a Division I player in France. She played in the London Olympics. She's one of the leaders on this French team. I mean, she is really a great goalkeeper. Good fight down at the other end of the field. Brazil will inbound the ball now. Throw in on the far side. You take a look at the offense and the way they set up right now for Brazil. The way they'll break on the throw in, they head towards the goal, but out comes Deville. She'll clean it nicely. Distributes it out to the right side. Here comes France. Long pass. That pass was attempted downfield. And catching up to it very quickly was Pamela Barbinga. Barbinga did not see action the other night. So we're seeing a few players on the field tonight for France that we did not see the other night. Challenge. Barbinga. Cross. Boy, that would have been pretty had it been nice. Didn't happen. Ball clears over the heads of both the Brazilian player and the French player. Barbinga's pass across the center was intended for Butel. Stays out on the far side. France inbounds. Brazil all over. They're going to try it again. And a push from behind. Brazil called. Brazil gives him absolutely no room. I mean, they are right there. Close. I want to say glove on a hand type deal, but that's the way it is. In terms of shots on goal, each team has had 3 shots on goal so far, and each goalie with 2 saves. But once again, we're only in the 17th minute of this soccer match. And as I said earlier, it's a 1-0 score in favor of Brazil, but much soccer still to be played and a lot of fireworks to come on the field.
Like we talked earlier, Van, big difference from last night's weather conditions. Last night we had those gusts way up there. We almost lost the building here. Our building was shaking every now and then. But tonight winds are calm. We're at 36 degrees centigrade. 15% humidity. A little dry out there.
Good corner kick across the center. A lot of defenders there for Brazil. They had a little tough time clearing it. So up with the ball comes Renata Santana. Yeah, this is a huge difference from last night. And the decision was made to play these games in the evening here at Fort Bliss, Texas, instead of during the day, plain and simply to avoid the heat.
Yeah, once they're out there during the midday, that's when we can start baking food out on the deck.
Long pass downfield. DeVille will step up. And she will boot it back while it's on the ground.
She's got a cannon for a leg.
She does. She's good. You don't play for your country in the Olympic Games as a goalkeeper unless you are good. Steve, we saw something else today that we hadn't seen in 3 or 4 days since we've been here. You know what that is? Very simple word. Chad Murphy, our executive producer, pointed it out. It's called clouds. We saw clouds in the sky.
Where? I don't believe you.
No rain, just
Wait,
clouds.
There's a couple.
They're over
there.
You can see them.
See them on the east
side. The other side of the airport. Corner kick, far side. Across the center. Up steps France. They'll head it back out. Kept alive, so they'll try it again. Nice challenge. Little push. Play on, says the referee. No.
Nope.
France ball. You never try to call him from the press box. Even though you may see him, the referee may not. The bottom line is don't call him from the press box.
And the referees don't want the players to call it on the field either. So.
And they sure don't want the players to call them on the field. The old line is, look, you play the game and I'll officiate.
Got a quick couple shout outs. We got Eric from Rio de Janeiro in the Brazilian Navy watching. We have Steve watching, or that worked us in Sicily. We have Alice from Delile Nord. We got from the UK watching. They're watching. They're coming in from all over the place.
Well, wherever you are around the world, we are glad that you could watch this live stream here of the World Military Women's Soccer Championships. The Military World Cup is what we like to call it. Good challenge, good effort out there near midfield. Brazil comes away with it. Looks long down the left side. There's the pass. Can they chase it down? Oh, she just ran out of gas. Lost her legs. That's all you could say. As down tumbles Pamela Vasconcelos.
She tripped herself up on that new turf there.
The new turf you're talking about is a synthetic field that was actually completed about 4 or 5 weeks ago. This tournament is the first competition ever held on this field. In fact, when you look at your monitor, at your screen, you will see yellow lines out there. 20, 40, another 20. Those are lines on the field for flag football, one of the intramural sports here at Fort Bliss, Texas. So we've got a player down on the far side of the field. And it looks like we are going to take a water break. It's a 1-minute water break, allowing the teams to return to the respective team areas to get water, to stay hydrated. Again, it's still a hot day. Not as hot as it was on day number 1 when it was 104 degrees at the start of the game. Still very, very hot.
I think it was a little hotter than that.
It was.
Maybe, but you know what? Once you get over 104, I don't think it really matters after that. It's still hot. Hot as hot.
It is. The player that went down that is now back up to her feet is number 7, Rayana Machado. So good to see Machado get back up to her feet. So both teams have had a chance to stay hydrated, get some water. They're back out on the field. And in approximately the 22nd minute of play, DeVille will drop it, boot it high, and boot it long.
She's making that 3/4 of the way down the field.
Juliana Ferrer had the head on that. And if it's one thing we've seen tonight from Brazil that maybe we haven't seen from some of these other teams, especially Korea and especially China, are the long passes, Steve.
That is correct. We're seeing a lot of them tonight on both sides.
Both sides.
Pitch. France right now in control. A couple people down the range there. See if we can get some action on the goal.
Left side.
Offsides.
And they're going to call offsides. I thought France set that up very, very nice. But they were unable to come away with anything. As Sarah Palenza was offside for France.
Brazil was smart to keep the defenders in a good position. Did not allow the attackers to advance.
There's another one of those long passes that we were talking about. Both players going for it. And she just lost her balance as she went down to the turf.
We're seeing a little bit of that from Brazil tonight.
That we have.
Non-contact falls. That one, she tripped over the ball.
She did. She tripped over the ball, stepped on top of it. Fortunate she didn't twist an ankle. That was Oliveira, by the way, who tripped over the ball. Now, excuse me, that was number 10, Barbara Ferreira. Barbara Ferreira's 7 years in the military. She's strong. She's aggressive, as we have already seen. She's like a leader out there on the field. And sometimes, you know, you can get ahead of yourself. And the coaches like to say she's one of the more intelligent players that they've had the opportunity to coach. So she plays with her head. She plays with her body.
Have another long kick from the goal, creating some opportunities for these attackers. I think that's going to come in France's favor as we get down the further path of this game here.
The other thing about this game is both teams, Steve, they're very quick in transition. We've seen a couple of teams, perhaps Korea, perhaps China, that will take time to set things up defensively and then methodically move the ball up the field. Here, transition game takes place so fast with the long passes and the lightning speed. Things move quick, very quick.
And some of the difference you're seeing is not the entire team is not going up and down the field. They are staying in their positions. They are making sure that they are not exposing themselves on both sides of the ball.
Great play, great shot opportunity, but up steps Santana. Sarah Palenza, very active out there on the field for France tonight. Long pass downfield.
Stayed on side.
Quickly down there is Vasconcelos. Vasconcelos gets it back out. Hard pass to the middle. Nobody's able to do anything with it.
Good idea, though.
Very nice idea.
And we talked about that in transition. You're seeing it just now. Look at France midfielders staying consistent. They're not overcommitting.
You know, Steve, there are some people that will say, you know, there's just not enough offense. You know, I have a hard time with this sport because there's not enough offense. When you get into this game and you take a look at some of the strategy and you take a look at some of the skill level and you take a look at some of the situations that take place on the field, you can only come away with deep appreciation for the athleticism out there.
That's right. They're out there the entire time. They're running up and down the field. Sometimes people look at them as, oh, they're just walking. Well, they just sprinted up and down the field several times. You know, now they're patiently being in their position, committing to their position. It's not like some other sports, but every sport has their own nuances.
DeVille puts another one 2/3 of the way down the field. And France will have the inbound.
And you see some of our ball shaggers down there from the local Fort Bliss Children, Youth, and Teen program, the CYS Sports. They're out there hustling their little feet off there, trying to make sure that the ball stay in play.
But I like it. There's been an opportunity for, well, people from all different echelons to get involved with hosting this tournament here at Fort Bliss, Texas, whether they're with CYSS or whether they're with the Garrison, MWR, Rec Aids. They have done a great job of hosting the tournament and getting so many people involved with the hosting responsibilities.
Great team here at Fort Bliss. Can't ask for a better team.
You can't. They do a great job. You can't ask for more. Here comes France. Nice play on the left side.
Very good, smart passing you've seen. Just couldn't keep it.
Good challenge that time. But Brazil always back in position. France coming back the other way. Very aggressive. They're going to attack every bit they can. Brazil taking over. They're going to work it up the left side now. A race for the ball. Down the left side goes Vasconcelos.
Very smart to put it out there. Let's control the game. Let's force Brazil to reset, and allows France to reset.
And both teams are going to head over to the other side, which leads me to believe that the last time was not a water break, but it was as a result of a player down on the field that both teams took advantage of that opportunity, go over and get some water, but this is the water break called by the officials. And again, you can't fault either one of them. The team going over when one of the players was down on the field to get hydrated, to get water, or the regularly scheduled water break, the 1 minute timeout that we're seeing right now. So it's twilight time here in El Paso, Texas. Beautiful mountain range off to the west, sun having dipped down behind the sky. You've got a nice look at those mountain ranges, and I'm telling you what, it doesn't get a whole lot more scenic than that, my friend.
Nope. Once the sun goes down behind those mountains, Van, the temperature starts to drop drastically.
You get a nice look at everything in and around this area. This, the second largest Army installation in the Department of the Army.
Probably one of the most scenic.
And one of the most scenic, in many
Beautiful
respects.
Franklin Mountains there.
The only thing we could use is the sun maybe up just a little bit higher to give us that magnanimous sunset. But we've got other days in order to get there.
That is correct.
Now, having said that, when the sun's not behind the mountain, Steve, the team heading west, guess what? They're shooting right into the sun.
That is correct.
Brazil picking up its pace just a little bit.
In Group A, you're seeing that is a problem. That sunset goes right in hindsight if you are the goalie down on the field, on the east side of the field, where the current play is going. Once that sun hits that goalie, they're having difficulty tracking the ball. And that's where we're seeing a lot of goals in that early match come.
And they were, as you said, down at that end, because that was one of the factors. A goalkeeper has got to have courage. You got to have a lot of concentration, and it's hard to keep your concentration sometimes when you're trying to squint in the sun. So we've got a player down on the far side. And it is a Brazilian player. There's just no way we can get the number. The trainer is out to a tenderer right now. The official is over there, and it looks like we're going to have a substitution. Out of the contest goes Oliveira. Jane Oliveira, who scored the first goal and into the contest. That's going to be number 5 on our roster. That's going to be Patricia Derlico. Long pass downfield. Staying very even in terms of put the ball in the back of the net. 3 shots on goal for Brazil. 4 so far tonight for France. France trying to get just a little bit closer to pick up another one. In terms of saves, well, we're still at 2 apiece for each of the 2 goalies. Renata Santana for Brazil. Celine Deville for France. Down goes a player, but she jumps up. That's Pamela Vasconcelos. And this is a physical match. I mean, we got people flying all over the place. A lot of bodies hitting the turf. And it's physical out there. Good lead pass right side, but just a little bit too wide. Out of bounds, Brazil will inbound it. Inbound on the left side. Pamela Vasconcelos will center it, takes it back. Over to the right side right now. Setting things up in the center. Little dribble pass. A lot of traffic in. Up steps the defense of France. They had 5 people back at one point. They collapsed their whole team back on defense. Foul call. Brazil will have the indirect. Moving towards the 35th minute of play in this contest. There's a kick up high, and it sails to the left side. Direct kick on goal, goes a little bit left. And France will have the opportunity to bring it back. Céline Deville puts her foot behind the ball, sends it down. France controls. You can't miss a beat. If you miss a beat, you're going to pay for it. You're going to have Patricia D'Rico step up. She's got fresh legs. Vasconcelos shot over to the right side, and it drifts just wide of the side post. Pamela Vasconcelos is one of the forwards, and she's got a leg. She's not afraid to shoot it. She's got an eye for the goal, and I think we've seen that. And if she doesn't score before this game's over, I could be surprised. High pass to the inside. Brazil maintains it, and another shot, and this one just sails over the crossbar. This has had some momentum swings earlier on. In spite of the 1-0 score, Steve, with Brazil, we've seen France attacking the goal. They came away empty-handed, and we've seen Brazil attacking the goal, and they've only gotten in one time. So it's got some momentum swings back and forth.
That's right. Each team's being very disciplined on how they're approaching. No one's panicking, because they still got another half to play. That's why you're seeing tight defense and tight offense. There's that leg again.
And it's a little drop kick that she has. She gets a lot of height on it. Good challenge. Out of that challenge comes Vasconcelos. Good footwork by Fernetta Lisson. Double team by France. They'll come away with the ball. They'll turn it around to go back. Pressure that time by Brazil. Beaten nicely, however. But only temporarily by Tatiana Solonnet.
Oh, we got another drive coming.
Left side.
Oh,
nice
great
play
defense.
that time. Covering the territory and making up ground quickly was Caroline Lavilla. So Brazil will have a corner kick. They will disguise their formation and then watch the yellow jerseys break. Ball's up. Attempted header. No contact made. And player goes down. Couldn't see from here, Steve, but I think that two players may have collided in the air.
We're getting a lot of that this game.
It's a physical game, as I said.
But nothing dirty. That's
No,
the thing.
well within the rules.
Competitive, passionate, but they're still displaying outstanding sportsmanship out there.
And you have to respect that. Another long pass downfield, headed back the other direction by Brazil, and it goes out. In talking with the Brazilian coaches earlier today, they seemed to express no concern. I said, well, what if France scores? We'll keep our heads about us, he said. You know, that's soccer. We know our skills. We know our abilities. If they score, that's not a problem. We will continue to play our game, and that will pay off. Céline Deville. She's been busy tonight, and I got a feeling she's going to be busy for the rest of the night as well. Renata Santana, not so. '40th minute of play, 1-0 Brazil. thanks to the early goal by Jane Oliveira. Brazil will drop back. They will settle now. They allow their offense to get set. There's your long pass. Downfield once again. France very quick on the defense. They had 4 defenders back at that time. They will try to come up their left side. And it goes out, Brazil's ball.
And as we have people watching all over the world, if you are just waking up in France and you're an early riser, it's 4:40 in the morning. In Rio, they're just getting either ready for bed or just getting ready to go out and have a good time. It's 11:40 at night. But we welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
If you're waking up in Germany, it's 4:40 in the morning. I can tell you that much. In France, I think it's an hour.
No, they're the same time.
Same time.
They're
okay.
Same time.
France, long pass. And very quickly does Brazil drop back into defensive position. Up on the left side comes Lisson. She's going to dribble. Looks for a pass. There's an opening on the left. She won't see it, though. Yes, she does. Down off on the left side.
Stays on. Oh, offside.
And it was offsides. That's Pamela Vasconcelos that she was trying to get to. You could see the opening from up here, but she just couldn't see it out of the periphery. Nonetheless, Vasconcelos got just a little bit ahead of the play and was called with the offside. We saw a pretty good game in France's earlier game in this tournament against Germany, but they overwhelmed Deutschland 6-0 in that game. And this game, well, it's a little bit quicker, not as high scoring. Here comes France. Good challenge, good defensive effort. Oh, and Brazil.
Brazil retains the ball.
Brazil comes away with it.
France got just a little too handsy on that one.
Just a little bit too much shoving on the play. And called on that particular foul was Sarah Pelensa. And just an off-balance play on the other side. France will take over.
Just a minute and a half left in regulation time.
The other thing about the fast play and the quick transitions from both teams, I think, Steve, is it just kind of makes the game go by a little bit quicker.
That's right. While we saw a very hard-fought match between Netherlands and Canada, it was a slow game. Most of the action stayed between the 20s, as you can see on the field. Not a whole lot of attacks. The midfielders controlled the game. Here we're seeing those long passes. We're seeing those very crisp passes, to be honest with you.
Just like that one.
Speedy transitions, just like you're seeing right now.
Just like that one.
And this makes the game go by so quick.
That's Julia Ferreira on the ball. She dribbles nicely, and then she loses it. But very quickly, she gets support from her teammates. You know, they said they have a lot of fun out there. They said they play like a family. I mean, they laugh together. They enjoy together. They work hard together. That's how they describe the Brazilian team. And you know what? It kind of is typified in the play so far that we've seen this evening.
That's right. One of the things you're seeing down there is France is double teaming, but you're not seeing Brazil come in mass numbers for the rescue. They're having confidence in their forwards that they're going to break through and retain the ball. And that's a big difference. That's going to create your openings.
And you take a look at Brazil's defenders. They generally stay back. They don't always come across that midfield line as you just now discussed. Here comes France. They're going to take it up on the right side. Long lead pass, but really nobody there. So Santana will distribute it back out to her right side. Comes over to the left, and they're just going to They're going to play a little bit of control back on defense.
Right now we're playing in stoppage time, so you probably have another minute and a half left, maybe 2 more minutes.
De Silva got that started, but Celine DeVille will stop it. She literally lofts that ball up there. And she'll get another opportunity. Out on the left side, it'll be Brazil's ball. Jana Oliveira, a goal in the early minutes of this contest, has supplied the only point in this game as Brazil has a 1-0 lead over France.
We'll turn the volume down from outside as someone's car alarm's going off in the parking lot.
It's not any sort of probably intentional thing. No victory celebration in progress by anybody at this point in time.
Now, maybe after the game we'll see some cars flipped over in the parking lot, but it was only about. We've got a good crowd tonight. We've got a lot of players from the other teams watching, scouting, seeing what they're going to expect.
I see Bahrain down in the stands. They have yet to play their first game. And I'm not for sure what the two officials are discussing over on the far side, but there is a discussion. And it appears to be a yellow card. That is going to be a red card.
We got a red card?
I can't tell. I see the card there on the far side of the field. We'll get a report on that, and we'll see who might come off the field. But the discussion is in progress. Matt, can you check and see if that's red or yellow? Red card? Tell me who it's on. That is a red card. You see the French coach come out there. Cédric Vautier. He had a few things to say as well. And a red card has been administered. It's an expulsion from the game. And Brazil, here in the closing seconds of the first half, will have another opportunity. Direct from the far right side. Shot is up. Long shot. DeVille comes out and deflects. Kicked out of the goal area by France. And the red card went against Soline Barbons. She's one of the leading scorers in this tournament. She's got 2 goals that she scored against Germany. One of 3 players in the tournament with 2 goals. As we come to the half, Barbons receiving the red card. She is gone. And time expires in the first half of play. As it does so, we head to the half with Brazil 1 and France 0. And absolutely no real surprises out there in the pace of this game and the way it's been. It's been a transition game. It's been a hard-fought game, up and down the field. 1 red card administered, 1 goal, 3 or 4 shots on goal by both teams. Some good efforts by Celine DeVille in the goal, and also by Renata Santana in the goal for Brazil. And Steve Denote, you want to see good international level soccer, women's soccer. You're seeing that tonight.
We are. And that red card's very unfortunate. Like you said, Barbons, 2 goals, easily their top player. She probably would have got more goals against Germany until they substituted her out. They figured you got your 2 goals, we're dominating the game, take some rest. Rest for this game. And now she gets the rest for the rest of this game, unfortunately.
And you know what? She also gets the rest for the next game.
That's correct.
So a 1-game suspension when you get the red card, and that is the first red card administered in this tournament. We've seen a couple of yellow cards. Well, actually, we've seen more than a couple of yellow cards, and they are aggregate in nature. In other words, they carry forth, and it depends on the severity of the penalty for which the yellow card has been handed out. But nonetheless, with the red card, no discussion on it. Expulsion, and then they're out for the next game. So we're at the half. We're going to step aside quickly, take a little bit of a break ourselves, and in about 12 minutes, we're going to be right back to start the second half of this action. You are watching the World Military Women's Soccer Championship. We call it the Military World Cup from Fort Bliss, Texas. We're going to take a break. We'll be back after a few minutes. Welcome back to Stout Field here in Fort Bliss, Texas, as we're getting set for the second half of tonight's competition between Brazil and France, a Group B match. We are at the half, and Brazil, thanks to an early goal by Jane Oliveira, took an early 1-0 lead over France and then kept that throughout the entire first half. I'm Van Stokes, working along with Steve Denote, Chief of the United States Delegation and Secretariat for the U.S. Armed Forces. And Steve, we were just talking a little bit about the action in the first half. This was as high a quality of women's soccer that you could probably see in America, short of professional women's soccer perhaps, or even World Cup type competition.
And you're seeing a very passionate game out there. That's why we saw a red card right at the end of the half.
And that red card, yeah. I was going to say it came on Céline Barbons, the leading scorer for France.
Right now you're seeing France warm up a little bit, get their legs back under them after that really tough first half, man. We saw lots of long passes, lots of quick transitions.
Yep.
A lot of crisp passing going back and forth. That ball didn't stay in the middle of that field the whole time. We had a lot of shots on goal. We had a lot of action down in both offensive fronts. So I'm really anxious to see what's going to happen. And right now, France is playing with just 10 people.
To play with one down against a team like Brazil, that is a challenge. So France out of the pitch in their blue tops, blue pants, and blue socks, and Brazil, their yellow jerseys, white pants, and white socks. As we get set for the start of action here in the second half. 45 more minutes of football and the Military World Cup. And out quickly within the first minute. Deville back in action in the goal for France. Brazil scored early in the first half. It's going to be interesting to see if they mount an attack quickly. Long shot.
Nope.
Goes to the right just a little bit, but Deville makes a diving stop. And France, good on defense, but take a look at Brazil. They are not the least bit shy in shots.
They are going to take advantage of that one person down right now. They're going to continue to attack and attack. But yet you got France right now. They're trying to mount their attack, get on that board. They're the defending champs, Van. I don't think they're going to try to sit quietly.
They are the defending champs. You are exactly correct.
Wide to the right.
But Steve, as I take a look back at some of the teams in the past, Germany has won this event 4 times. Brazil has won it 3 times. France is the defending champ. But you want to know what? They've got 1 Military World Cup gold medal to their credit. And that was 2016, the last time this tournament was contested.
In 2016, France was the host. France brought all their players. They said, you know what, we're hosting, we're going to win this thing.
Now, this is the 8th year that France has participated in this tournament. Germany has participated in all 11, as has the Netherlands.
And the United States.
And the United States also with 11. Now, the thing that Germany and the Netherlands had is back in 2001, it was what they would call a military international tournament. In other words, in order to get into the Olympic Games, in order to get into CISM, you have to demonstrate your sport and demonstrate the skill level and demonstrate the commitment to it. And that's what they did in 2001. Another long shot, left side, Deville comes out nicely. And then in 2002, that was the very first year.
Yes, and with CISM, women championships, you can have regional championships, those are within your respective regions, and you can invite teams from other parts of the world. So for a European regional, it could be Western Europe, it could be Eastern Europe. In the States, you would have the North American, that's our region, for example, with the Caribbean islands. And then you have your continent, and that is open up to all the continent, and that's just a step above the regional. And then if you can demonstrate, you have 4 teams, 4 nations participating on women championships. That is what you have as a world championship. 4 teams for the women, 8 teams for the men. And once you can demonstrate that you have that on 2 different continents within a 4-year cycle, that's what gives them that Category 1 sport recognition. That's where you now become a world championship event.
Elevated to that international elite level. Out of the contest, or into the contest, I should say, is Audie Moreau for France and Sarah Palensa out of the game. Moreau on the pitch for France. Brazil will take its time to set it back up on defense, and they'll move it across the midfield line. Look at the way they're spread out right now, Steve, on the field for Brazil.
Very strategic. You're seeing they got 2 defenders back. Before they were playing with 4 defenders. Now they got 2. They upped their midfield, and they got a
long shot over the crossbar.
Now you're seeing a lot more attackers up front for Brazil. That changed. They changed their formation around.
And they set up their plays. I mean, they will stay wide. They will work it up towards the middle, deliver it to the side, back to the middle, and then launch a very long 30-yard shot perhaps. And if it hits, well, just under the crossbar, it's goal. But credit them for this. They are taking a lot of shots. Or if not a lot, at least more so than France. There's a nice lead. No offsides. Down on the right side, where will it go from here? Header opportunity, but it's not there.
But they keep it in play. Look at that. They're resetting. France coming again with the double team.
They keep it in play nicely. A lot of credit that time.
Overall, excellent defense.
Superb.
Goalie did not overcommit. She trusted her defender. Now she's got the ball, and she's looking to launch this thing in the other side of the net. DeVille can do that with that foot.
You see that little drop and that left-footed kick, and up comes Brazil. They'll get it back. 4 headers in a row. France will take control. Works it to the right side. Looking for a foul, but it's a play on. French player down on the turf, but she pops up nicely. Nice lead pass by France, but credit Céline Deville.
Good morning in Paris. Bonjour. We are at 5:09 a.m.
Bonjour, monsieur, madame.
Bonjour. And in Rio de Janeiro, it is just a little after midnight. So all those we got a lot of Brazilian flags coming in on the Facebook comment line. And they're up. They're watching this game.
They're up. They're watching. They're interested in it. My conversations with the coaches is basically like this is an important event in their country.
We had people from the Brazilian Navy watching. We have a look like I'm going to go back here some of these comments. It looked like we had someone
shot left side. Deville stops it nicely, drops it and launches it long, but there's Brazil at the far end of the field. Defensively, they gather quickly. They're coming in from a lot of different places, are they not?
They are. We had looked like someone from a news site. I just can't pull it up. I'll try to continue. Oh, we got more French flags coming in. So we had some we had some Brazilian flags, but now the French flags are coming in.
And people hustling for that little emblem right now to put on their Facebook comment. We'd like to hear from you wherever you are around the world. We're glad you could be with us on this live stream of the World Military Women's Soccer Championships.
Pass the word. Get the word out. Let's try to get over 100 live viewers right now.
We're looking forward to tomorrow. We've got another doubleheader for you. The 2018 CISM Women's World Football Championship marches right on with Group A action as the Netherlands will face China at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Then in the evening, second match. Kickoff time is 11 p.m. Eastern. That's tomorrow. And that's when the United States will go up against Canada.
Brazil
Here
looking
comes
for another
Brazil.
goal.
Defense from France right there.
Right over the goal.
Shot high and long.
Now, interesting transition in CISM right now. We have a new president, and he's from France. Former chief of delegation just up until this May, and was voted unanimously by the General Assembly, and he is now the president.
He is the president of 138 member nation organization.
Phenomenal soccer player.
Wow.
Phenomenal soccer player, and an international referee as well.
Now, all sports, Steve, are obviously, they have their own past and their own history and their own sense of laurel. However, soccer being the sport that it is around the world, winning a World Military Cup in men's or women's soccer is a very prestigious accomplishment.
It is. And on the men's side, right now we have the CISM World Football Cup that's conducted every 4 years. The last installment was in 2017, held in Muscat, Oman. And they are getting ready to host the World Military Games in Wuhan, China next year.
You rattle all this stuff off the top of your head like, you know, like you've been to all these places and you know what this is all about.
I've been around a couple of times.
You've been around the block.
Just like 2 or 3. Not much more.
I got it, but you know the landscape and you understand CISM because you've been part of it now for a number of years as the head of the Armed Forces Sports in the United States of America, and now you serve as the chief of the American delegation, which means whenever the United States leaves America or hosts anything in America, you are the man that heads up the delegation of the United States of America. Good cross pass up over the bar.
Outstanding goalkeeping right there. Can't get any better than that. Timed perfectly where to get that ball.
They're going to have another opportunity at it, will Brazil, but credit Celine DeVille. She's using her experience in the goal nicely tonight. Another good corner kick. That one's going to go off to the side. And in the 55th minute of this game, the score remains Brazil 1, France nothing.
And keep in mind, France is down 1 person due to that red card on Celine Bourbon's.
Celine Bourbon's got a red card for a foul committed on the other side of the field. I think she was caught for a kick that really shouldn't have been there. The ball wasn't there. And she was red carded. So she is not only taken out of this game, but there will be at least a 1-game suspension to follow. Another corner kick. And it will go up.
I believe France is going to get control of that one. Here's DeVille. She's going to come out. She's going to show us how big that leg is once again.
She gets under it, launches it long. She's got more distance on the drop kick than she does on the ball when it's just being kicked off of the turf. But that's natural. It's like hitting a golf ball off the tee, at least for me. Another shot. What a save. Oh, what a nice play.
So France defenders tried to clear it, but not quite high enough, forcing DeVille to get in there and save the ball from her own teammate.
Physical game, 3 players on the field. And over comes our official, and there is a yellow card. A yellow card administered.
On Brazil.
On Brazil. I'll try to get the number who I think that might be on. That is going to be on Diana da Silva, a yellow card. It's a caution. She gets to remain in the game, but the yellow cards are aggregate in effect. And France has to turn right back around and play on defense. Look at the run down the right side, under control. What a run. A pass to the center, and you got an offside call. Timing was plain and simply not there, but give a lot of credit that time. Coming down to the right side was Rayana Machado. Rayana Machado showing her skills, good technical skills on the part of Machado, but you can say that pretty much against every player on this field in terms of having good technical skills. I'm talking France, I'm talking Brazil. And that's going to be Brazil's ball. Bounces off the leg of Bárbara Ferreira. Excuse me. That was off of France. So up comes Brazil now.
Starting to see a little aggression out there between the teams. That's where that defending champ versus the team that's won this 3 times, last one in 2015, they're trying to get back on top, and they want to unseat their champs and reclaim that title. That's why we're seeing a little bit more emotion out there.
Nice kick down the right side.
And we got an offside.
Another offside. We did talk to the FIFA head referee, Lieutenant Mohammed Al-Hakim, at the half, and he talked to us about the red card. But as we were talking with him, he just talked about what a good contest this really is that we are watching here tonight. So he just kind of validated some of the things that we had to say. And then we also had a chance to talk to the USA coach, who stopped up here as well and said, hey, this is a great soccer game. He also said this is a tough group, and I'm talking about Group B, the group with France, Germany, Bahrain, and Brazil. Good hustle, but good defense on the far side. Julie Rabana denied the opportunity, and Brazil kicks it out. France will continue to attack, throwing it in. And one-on-one, you see a lot of really great challenges out there. You really do. France maintains possession. Up the center. A lot of dribbling. Shot opportunity. Instead, cross in the center. No opportunity for a header. And putting it up and sending it out of bounds.
Sent that over to Franklin Mountains.
Yeah, that one went, well, deep down the left side, out of bounds. And that came off of the foot of Caroline Pizzala. We called Pizzala's name a lot during the game against Germany. She was very, very active, but less so here tonight. Pizzala having to stay back on defense. Action left side. Brazil's going to take it up, up their right side. Long leading kick. Deville is there.
You can tell Brazil is getting aggressive with the attacks. You got 3 attackers right there, and they are so close to being offsides on each play.
Juliana Ferreira was the one who launched that. You're right. Their timing is just a little bit off, and had they not been called for as many offsides, they would have had some greater attempts on goals. Possibly like this.
again, that's France's experience right now. They are very disciplined on the defense.
I will say this, though, Steve. I'm a little bit surprised. I thought we were going to have more scoring than this. 1-0 right now. We are in the getting ready for the 63rd minute of action. And the way this game started, it appeared, well, France was on the attack. Brazil was on the attack. I did not expect it to be 1-0 at this point. But the defense of both teams has tightened up nicely.
Getting a little physical down there.
Down go 2 players, far side. And here comes Brazil again. Offsides again. Boy, they are so aggressive. They're just a step ahead of themselves.
And that's France's defense, holding steady, holding their discipline, causing those costly turnovers right now. And we got some ball shaggers down there from our local CYS, our Children
Youth Services Division.
They are the little sport guys playing for the local teams. We had a group of young girls soccer players escort the teams out during the opening ceremony. Great opportunity. And a lot of them are here watching the matchup.
Nice little crowd, as you said, at Stout Field here in Fort Bliss, Texas. This is the 4th night of this tournament. On night number 1, Korea defeated USA 1-0. Netherlands and Canada tied 0-0. The second night, France beat Germany 6-0. And then last night, as a player goes down right now, China beat the USA 3-0 and Korea beat Canada 3-0.
It's still warm down on that field. We're still looking at 33 degrees Celsius, roughly 93 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind is calm, not like you see the flags there. They're just kind of sitting there. But last night, those flags were taken off. This building started shaking. We lost the internet a couple times too because of the wind.
High wind. It got up between 25 and 30 miles per hour last night, if I recall.
That is correct. We had the cable guy out today fixing the dish, making sure we'd had internet for tonight. And so far, we haven't had any disruptions, so we're very pleased with that. So luckily for the rest of the tournament, we'll still have at least the wind behaving. We can't control the temperature.
And Brazilian player down on the far side of the field. And another yellow card. Yellow card against France. That's going to go against number 1-4. Against France, that is Caroline Lavilla. And down on the field is a Brazilian player. We've had a red card tonight. I think we've had 1, possibly 2 yellow cards. But that's a result of the aggression out there on the field. Not necessarily, well, bad play, but just 2 highly tempered teams.
And unfortunately, this yellow card resulted in an injury. So hopefully the Brazilian gal will get up and she'll be able to get back on the field. But it looks...
She is up, and she will stay in this contest. She will continue to play. In fact, she will take the kick.
This is where it gets dangerous sometimes. We have slight winds coming in behind that ball. You never know if it's going to drop it or let it sail.
Barbara Ferreira will have the direct kick.
See Brazil fighting for position right now.
And it goes right into the arms of Celine Deville. Credit France, so they're doing a very nice job of playing one man down. 10 aside as a result of the red card against Celine Barbons back in the first half. And Brazil, as hard as they have tried to take advantage of the fact that they're playing one down is France, well, they've been unable to do anything. France has stepped up mightily with their 10. You have to respect that. And sometimes, Steve, sometimes 10 good players on one team could beat 11 not so good players on another team. But right now what you have is two teams with very good players.
And also you have France's #1 player, one of the leading scorers of this tournament. She's out for tonight and maybe more.
Barbon's had 2 goals against Germany in that 6-1 win, 6-0 win back on Saturday night. We wind up with the gold medal match back on down the road on the 3rd of July, I should say, when the winner of Pool A will take on the winner of Pool B. That'll be at 7 o'clock here, Mountain Time, from El Paso, Texas. Earlier in that day, on the 3rd of July, it'll be the bronze medal match between the runner-up team from Pool A against the runner-up team from Pool B. That's at 10 o'clock on the 3rd of July. So the tournament will come to a conclusion on the 3rd. Long pass downfield, no offsides there. Out comes DeVille. She clears it nicely. That is a nice play by DeVille. I'll tell you what. She's got the courage. She's got the quick reaction. She's got the concentration. She knows when to make a break for the ball, when to set back and let her teammates take over. She works very effectively with her French teammates. But what I was going to say is on the 4th of July, Steve, these teams here in this tournament are going to be treated, well, to one of the best holidays, to one of the best celebrations of the year here at Fort Bliss, Texas. They're going to get the fireworks and the whole 9 yards, and they will get to see a celebration in America.
Pure Americana at that point.
At that point.
Our holiday, the 4th of July, celebrating our independence.
And a player down on the field.
That, of course, is going to be another opportunity for these teams to mingle together, friendship through sport, carry out the CISM motto, interact with one another, exchange little bits about their culture with one another. And that's what this tournament's all about at the end of the day.
That's what, that's certainly what the motto of CISM is. But I will tell you this. When the whistle blows and the clock starts and they start keeping score, yeah, friendship should override everything. But the competition is pretty stiff. It's all about fair play, respecting your opponents, the referees, the officials, and the spectators, and then having good, safe, and fair contest and friendship through sports. That's what it's all about. Those are Olympic ideals when you get right down to it. The founder of the modern-day Olympics, Pierre de Coubertin, said, really, it's not about the winning and it's not about the losing, but it's about the participation that counts. Getting all torn up inside, overcoming difficulties, and staying in the game. That's what Olympiism's about.
That is correct, but once you get in between the lines and that whistle blows, your competitiveness sometimes takes over, and that's why we're seeing some aggression out there with some of these cards, unfortunately. However, at the end of the day, they're going to shake hands, they're going to congratulate one another, and wish well for the next match.
Shot off to the left side, but it's going to go a little bit wide. And I heard the Netherlands coach and the German coach, they kind of shared the philosophy that when the whistle blows and the game starts, we don't have friends with the other team. But when the game is over, regardless of who wins, we go drink a beer together. And I really have to respect that.
Absolutely. But the match is not over. We still got a little less than 20 minutes before this concludes. So France, they have a chance to tie and even take the lead.
They do.
Even though they're down one player. But right now, you can see they're still making Brazil fight and get possession of this ball. They're not letting Brazil run all over them.
And they are denying Brazil any more scores at this point. And there's one of the first times that Renata Santana has touched the ball here. And this the second half. One of the neat things about this is, you know, you develop respect for your opponents. I mean, you have to respect yourself, you have to respect your opponents, and you have to respect the game. And then, of course, you've got to have that respect for the team and the country that you are representing. But this gives you the opportunity to do all those things. And what an underlying value it helps create among the participants. You got to really appreciate it.
And again, the motto we keep saying, friendship through sport. And the reason behind that is let's get them on the athletic field. Let's get them participating, because it's better to do that than on the battlefield. It's about bringing these nations together in a peaceful competition. And that's what we're seeing out of here. We have 9 strong nations participating. Some rivals, some formal rivals. But at the end of the day, they are athletes. They get to exchange those friendships that are going to last for a lifetime in many cases.
Boy, you take a look at, I couldn't agree with you more. And I'm going to carry that thought forward in just a second. Taking a real quick look right now on shots on goal. For Brazil, they've got 16 shots on goal.
We have some action up front.
Goal. Here's France, another shot on goal. Make that 6, and that one just went off to the left side. And disappointed in that shot. Down on the turf she goes. She had that golden opportunity to score, and she left it wide.
Could not take control, unfortunately.
Great effort down on the field that time. That one was off the foot of Kimberly Kazoo. And they will head to the side for a water break. But 16 shots on goal from Brazil. 5 shots to make that 6 on the last one by France. In terms of saves, I'll tell you, one woman who's been busy tonight, that is the goalie for France, Celine Deville. She's got 12 saves. Santana in the goal for Brazil. She's got 4 saves on the night. So that's a quick look at the stats.
12 saves, but yet you got 1 point out there. So outstanding job. All those shots on goal, you got a busy goalkeeper, and she's keeping France into this match.
You know, I was reading a little bit today, and among the things that I put my eyes on was the fact that the play of the goalkeeper has a lot to do with the outcome of the game. And if Deville hadn't been as strong and as good and as experienced as she is in the goal for France, the score and possibly the outcome of this game could even be different. Now, having said that, because of all the saves that she's had, she gives her team hope, and it's got the positive impact that if France can score, it's Deville who helped put them in that position to tie up this game.
And we got 15 minutes left of this match. So Brazil opened up in the first 4 minutes. We got 15 minutes left. We don't know what else is in store for us. France can decide to turn it on. We'll see.
That's why you got to love it. Well, they've had 1 minute timeout for their water break. They've stayed hydrated. They're back out on the pitch. Again, we want to remind you, we're back tomorrow night with a doubleheader. First game at 6 o'clock tomorrow night.
6:30.
Excuse me, 6:30. That's going to be Canada, the Netherlands, and China. And then right after that, Canada and the USA.
That's going to be USA's first time this tournament, playing in the evening. So we'll see if the results are a little different. First 2 matches they played early. High temperatures. First match of this tournament, temperatures were 107 degrees Fahrenheit. Or to try to convert that, we're close to 40.
And plus, they're playing a team that really is on the same level as they are, and that is Canada. Back down the other end, out comes Deville. Boy, what an opportunity that Kazoo had to tie this thing up, and she just missed that.
Unfortunate. She scored against Germany. Had one of those 6 goals. So we know she's got the footwork. We know she's got the power behind that leg.
She did. Against Germany, she scored in the 74th minute.
Just couldn't get it on goal that time.
Nice control that time, but good defense. Good control by Brazil. They left it just a little bit wide, and France turns it back around, only to give it back to Brazil. Right side. And she tried to stop it with the thighs. It would not work. Out of bounds. France has the inbound. The throw in. Onto the pitch. Fanny Horo for France. Right side. Let's see if they can't get it down there again. Set something up. Good penetration right now. Down on the right side. A race for the ball. Back to the center, and it's going to be headed out by Brazil. the trip, the foul against France, it'll be Brazil's ball. The player is down. I think we've had more players go down tonight as a result of the hard play than we have in maybe any other game, Steve. What do you think?
Couldn't agree more. Right now you're seeing just the passion out there, defending champs against former champs that want that title back. And they're playing very aggressive tonight, both teams. Now we're back to seeing these long passes again. They were silent for a little while.
They were. You know,
now
they were content,
opening up again.
They were content to set things up on defense and then work the ball up to midfield. But now you're back into a transition game. It's like they flick a switch or change gears in their game approach and move into long passes and transition quickly. Nice effort on the far side. Foul called, so Brazil brings it back. And they're content to pass it back and forth. This does two things. Number one, it eats up time. Number two, it causes France just to run around a little bit. They widen the field. We saw China last night. They played sideline to sideline. They used the whole field. And I got to say that Brazil, in a similar way, uses much of the field. Maybe not as much as China did.
I think they cover more real estate overall because you look at their forwards, they are forward. The defenders are playing more back and the midfield's controlling the center. Whereas China, you saw a lot more while they were sideline to sideline. They were moving forward and backwards, much more of a unit.
I think, as you called, between the 20s.
Between the 20s.
Of the flag football field.
Flag football.
This is one of the only
American football.
This is one of the only soccer fields, I think, probably in the world that you can say this game has taken place between the 20s.
That's correct. For all our international friends, yes, football in America is not what you call football. You happily called American football. I always wondered where the name came from, not going to lie to you. At what point did American football become football in America?
And that's a great question, and I can't answer that.
Yeah.
But when you leave the shores of this country and you start talking about football or foosball, well, it only means one thing: soccer.
That's right.
There's the foot, the drop, left foot kick, that time by Celine Deville.
In all my sport history classes, that's one topic we did not discuss.
Good shot down the left side. Nice attempt, but nice diving stop that time by the goalie, Renata Santana. Strong foot that time. That came off the toe of Julie Rabano, number 11. Brazil in possession, 81st minute of this game. Up on the left side. Deville out of the goal area. She heads it instead, but offside called against Brazil again. I'm curious to know how many offsides called against Brazil they've had tonight.
So we are getting some questions about the broadcast. We're going to continue to stay on Facebook Live. We seem to be getting a lot of responses this way. However, after the matches are over, we're going to download that video and post it back up on YouTube. So you can go check the matches back either through Facebook or YouTube. And if you want links to all those, please visit www.armedforcesports.com. There you'll see the banner at the top of the page with the logo of this tournament. Click on that banner. It's going to lead you right to all the action, live scores, and another offsides.
Brazil's just a step ahead of themselves. So live streaming for the rest of this tournament on Facebook, but then at the conclusion of this game, shortly thereafter, it will be posted on YouTube. So when you wake up in the morning, depending on where you are, what country you live in, if you want to see it again, or if you just want to call it up on the first time, That's when you go to YouTube and it'll be there.
And both videos are going to stay there. They're going to be, you're not going to miss them out. So if you nice.
Nice lead pass that time. Very nice lead pass that time. Off the foot of Rabana. But France unable to capitalize. Again, they've had 2 golden opportunities here in the past 10 minutes.
And despite being down one person, they're still attacking. They're not giving up. They want that. They want to keep that title. They want to come back to France saying we're repeat champions. But Brazil, they're trying to say, not today.
Corner kick. We'll see where it goes for France. It's up. Just a little bit too high.
Got just under that ball a little bit.
Coming in from the outside, you saw Caroline Pizzola. But that ball was just a little bit too high for her to hit. Here comes Brazil. They go down the left side, but the ball trickles out of bounds. I will tell you this, though, Steve. I have heard from friends from Germany. My colleague, Mr. Tom Lavacek, has been pulling this up on YouTube and watching it. Provided some good comments and kind things to say about the broadcast, and we're just thrilled and pleased to be able to bring this to you.
Former Secretariat of the Armed Forces Sports Program. Enjoying life in Germany.
But yet still serving soldiers and their families. After 40-plus years of work.
That's why we do what we do.
Good play. Left side. Great defense that time. Brazil right on top. They're going to get set. The throw in by France. You got a 3-on-1 situation. And they quickly get it out.
Right now, we're down within 5 minutes. So France, if they want to get on the board, they got to hurry up now.
Run down the right side, back to the center, looking for a shot opportunity.
Defense is still holding strong. However, Brazil, they want some insurance to make sure that this ball stays there. Oh, costly turnover. You got some action, but Brazil's able to retain control again.
The thing about Brazil is they recover so fast,
and they don't panic.
They don't panic. They play well within themselves. In fact, as I said earlier, though, Steve, I think they stay a step ahead of themselves. Hence, that's why you have so many offside calls.
But a lot of those offside calls are directly as a result of good defense by France.
And there's your defense again by France.
They're staying patient. They're not losing their positions. They're challenging Brazil.
86-minute pass to the center. And a blocking call. Foul against France. Down goes Diana da Silva that time. She'll bounce back up. And Santana will get in the game. Out on the left side, Rosa will kick it up. France taking control. You'd like to see this late in this game. Pass, header opportunity, beautiful crossing pass. What a beautiful lead pass that was. And what a great opportunity, just missing on the header.
She came all the way downfield for that, the challenge.
Very nice.
France made sure that they want to be known that they're going to be in this tournament all the way through. They're not giving up.
No, they're not.
Down one player. They're going to continue fighting.
And here's the deal. The only other team that France has left to play in their group is Bahrain.
Bahrain. Newcomers. Newcomers to women's football here at CISM.
I talked to their coaching staff earlier today, and this has been an eye-opener, and they haven't even taken the field.
And we're going to see what Bahrain brings to the table. Also new to CISM football, China.
And we saw what China
they brought.
To the table.
So we have 2 new teams this year. This is the largest women's football championship in CISM history.
There are 16 or 17 countries with women's football teams. DeVille's out of the goal, and it goes into the back.
Number
DeVille
2
came out, and it's a goal. DeVille came out, and then the shot off the left foot found the back of the net. Nicely played. The pressure's been there by Brazil, and they simply turned up the heat in the 88th minute. Good for the goal. So Brazil goes up 2-0 here in the final minutes of this contest.
We're going to get a number for you here shortly, who that was.
They had to work for that, no two ways about it. That was Pamela Vasconcelos. And I made the comment earlier in the first half when she was playing on this side of the field, I will be surprised if she doesn't score. It took all the way until about the 88th minute for that to happen, but she nailed it nicely from the left side. France not only playing one man down, but they're also playing 2 points down now. Wow.
It's going to be hard to recover.
One of the things we don't have, Steve, is the time of possession, and that's a difficult stat to keep. However, if I had to guess tonight, I would say 2/3 of this game, Brazil has had possession.
And I would argue you in the first half because it was very evenly matched, despite that 1-0 lead by Brazil. Shots on goal, saves, they were all evenly matched.
Good lead pass down the front to the right side, and it's
Another
a goal. Down on the right side, Daniela Lima. 27, took the dribble, took the pass, the good lead pass. She had the dribble, set herself nicely on the right side, and beat DeVille in the goal for goal number 3 tonight for Brazil. 3-0 Brazil. They have turned up the heat at the end. Credit France. They did all they could do with 10 aside. But here in the latter portion, as we now go into stoppage time, Brazil has managed to find that edge. Down the field again, a breakaway, another opportunity. Over to the left side, and France is going to be able to clear it. De Silva was looking at another opportunity, or excuse me, Lima was looking at another opportunity just like the one she had. And Brazil will retain possession. We are into stoppage time. I cannot tell you how much time remains in this game, but I can tell you that Brazil leads France 3-0. And if this is how it ends, Steve, this will be the third game in this tournament that will have had a 3-0 score to it. 3 seems to be the magic number. Ask me why.
3 matches with 3-0 outcomes. So yep, play that for your lottery.
Once again, talking to the Brazilian coach earlier today, he expressed a lot of confidence in his team, did Ricardo Costa Abrantes, as well as his assistant Saulo Silva. And he said, we're not going to panic out there. We know our skills. Another lead pass to right side. They're going to have an opportunity to set it up and try it again one more time. Nice play that time. Coming out on the right side to break things up. Caroline Pizzala. Pizzala busy here in the latter stages.
France still looking trying to get on the board here, even though we're in stoppage time. And I commend that. I commend that. Being one player down, they don't want to go out without a goose egg on the board.
No, they don't. Interestingly enough, the game that we're going to have tomorrow night at 9 o'clock between Canada and the United States, both those teams will be looking for their first goal of this tournament.
That is correct.
United States beaten by Korea in the first day, and Canada tying the Netherlands 0-0.
And we should be hearing that final whistle blow any moment now.
You would think. Long shot down, the goal's empty, and it's going to drift to the right side. DeVille had to try to track it down, and it was going to go just a little bit wide anyway. But, wow, DeVille was completely out of the goal that time, not expecting a shot. But credit Brazil, they saw the opportunity and almost made good on it. Goodness. Push from behind.
And that was not necessary. They're letting them play on, though.
They are playing on. Left side, look for a shot. Pass quickly. Shot by Rabano on the left side, goes wide left. Julie Rabano on the attempt. And time is just about ready to expire. I look for it any second. I will set my watch in the future to determine just how far into stoppage time we might go. That's probably the only way you're going to know.
And we're getting a lot of Brazilian flags up here on Facebook.
And there's the game. As time expires, Brazil has beaten France here tonight by the score of 3-0. A game with passion, a game that was hard played, a game that was aggressive on both sides, a game that saw 18 shots on goal by Brazil, only 7 by France. They spent the majority of the time on the defense. Credit, by the way, if you will, Celine DeVille. She had 12 saves on the night, and had DeVille not played as strongly as she had, that score could have been different.
That's what that Olympic experience gives you right there.
It really does. But credit Brazil. They came out with passion. They came out with skill. They played like a team, had fun. They call themselves a big family, and it showed out there tonight, Steve.
And you're out there, you're seeing they're congratulating one another, like we talked about earlier, friendship through sport. But, Van, it was a different competition.
You see the coach. You see the coach looking up here now, looking into the stands.
Let's turn a little volume up on the for the crowd.
Great conversations with the two coaches today. In fact, I had great conversations with all the coaches, but I'm talking about Ricardo Costa Abrantes Jr., the coach from Brazil. He talked about his team and talked about him in glowing terms today, as did the assistant coach, Saulo Silva. Expressed a lot of confidence tonight. Not arrogance and certainly not overconfidence, Steve, but he said, you know, we play a good game and we play hard. We can come out the winners tonight, and that's exactly what they did.
That's right. We're going to have exciting matches to continue. Bravo for both teams here, but the first half was evenly matched. It could have went either way.
It could have.
Brazil came right at the end of the first half. Brabants went out with the red card, and I think that changed the tone. They came out, and Brazil took advantage from the opening whistle of the second half.
But they could not score another goal until they got into the 88th minute.
And that was surprising. We thought that was going to happen, but I think the pressure all the way through wore out France until the end.
Yeah,
because it was very clear that the momentum shifted down towards France's defensive side of the field.
So here is the interesting thing right now. France won their first Group B game against Germany and picked up 3 group points. Now, tonight, Brazil has beaten France. They pick up 3 group points. You look at the standings after tonight's match, and they both have 3 group points.
That's right.
But you look at the goals for and the goals against, and that's where the tiebreaker is going to start to come in. Now, you still have Bahrain and Germany in this group and some games to be played, Steve. But the 6-0 count that France had over Germany, those 6 goals, could figure if there's any criteria that's got to be applied in order to break a tie in the group.
Yeah. And look at what Brazil's doing right now. They're bringing out the local CYS, the Children Youth Services, kids, youth soccer players here at Fort Bliss, taking photos, bringing them in, part of the family. It's like you said earlier, they have fun. They have a great chemistry out there, one big family. But you know what? They love to pour that energy out to the local group as well.
They do.
I've never seen a competition where Brazil wasn't smiling. Any sport.
They have fun. They do a great job, and they're great players, and they've got a great team here. Well, that's going to do it tonight. From Stout Field here in El Paso, Texas at Fort Bliss, we're back tomorrow night with the 2018 CISM Women's World Football Championship with Group A action as the Netherlands go against China. That's going to be 6:30 Mountain Time, 8:30 in the East, and I don't know what country you're in, but you can do the math and figure out the time that it's going to start. Netherlands, China, Mountain Time here in the United States, 6:30 p.m. tomorrow, and then the second match of the night, that's going to kick off at 9 o'clock Mountain Time. That's going to be the United States and Canada. It's going to be a good one. We're glad you've been with us tonight. We hope you can join us again tomorrow night and throughout this 2018 CISM Women's World Football Championships. Steve Denote, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you. I'm glad we've gotten some of these technical difficulties worked out to a large degree, but it's been great to have you on the broadcast.
Appreciate you, Van. Always the professional.
You're too kind. That's going to do it from Stout Field. For Steve Denote, for our entire broadcast crew, and even for Eric Hildreth. Until next time, I'm Van Stokes saying, so long, everyone.